It is time for Sweet City. Brad Sweet from Turner Motorsports of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series joins us here on the Morning Drive. Morning, Brad.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being with us this early. We were talking on the break. This is your first trip to Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, first time. I've never actually even been up here. I know it's close to Charlotte, and I definitely should have came up and watched the race. But I watched a little bit of video. It looks pretty exciting. Looks pretty tricky. A lot of beating, a lot of banging. So looking forward to today for sure.
We were just talking, Brad, before you joined us about, and granted you've never driven it, so how do you know? But I'm sure you've studied a little bit about how you drive this track. Would you consider this a technical place where you've got to hit the right rhythm getting around here?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because of how small it is and how close all the times are going to be, just that little bit that you can gain is going to be a lot more than say like a bigger track, a mile track, mile and a half track. If you can gain a tenth here, you're talking like 10 spots. You know what I mean? And that's going to take you up to maybe a top 10 instead of like a 20th place finish. So yeah, it's very technical. You got to. I'm sure that just getting to the center and off the corners is going to be huge. If you can just figure out just that little bit, you'll start heading towards the front of the field.
I know you haven't been out there yet, but are there other short tracks that maybe come to mind that you might go back into the recesses of your memory and say, well, maybe I could use this, and this from that racetrack and apply it here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so new. Like Phoenix, is got one tight corner there where you use a lot of braking and. It's pretty tight, and we've tested at the Motor Mile, which is going to relate a little bit. But my background, being from sprint cars and midgets and stuff, we don't really race on too many things like this. So it's gonna be a learning curve. Luckily, I got good teammates and good we got good trucks. So hopefully we'll be starting out pretty strong.
Yeah, I don't think there's a cushion. There's not a cushion there, is there, Nate? That you can point out to Brad.
I was about to ask the exact same thing, Pete. I mean, is there any track comparable to this in dirt racing or sprint cars? I mean, and there's no paperclip shaped dirt tracks, right?
Yeah, I mean there actually is, but I mean you drive so different. Like paperclip tracks, you get that you just get more sideways, and like there's a track in Indiana. It's called Hobstadt, Indiana. It's tiny. It's got really really tight corners, but there's nothing here today that I'm going to relate to that. So, there's an inside cushion here. There's always a cushion on the outside there. So, there's not much to it, but we'll see. It seems like I've actually ran better at short tracks so far, in the short amount of races I've ran. But, so hopefully we'll run pretty good here.
What has been the biggest challenge for you coming from the sprint car world and the open wheel world to getting behind the wheel of one of these heavy Camping World Truck Series machines?
I don't know. I feel like it's just, learning everything again with just the truck. Being able to relate information to the crew chief. It's just so different. Like with my sprint car, I feel like I get in it. If there's a problem, I know exactly where we need to go on a corner to fix it. I think that's what separates the Cup guys from, the guys that don't make it, or truck guys or nationwide guys. Is that they're just so good at dissecting the problem, relating it to their crew chief, fixing it, and then going on. Where that's just like a guy like Casey or Carl Edwards or those guys, they show up and they just get better and better and better through the whole weekend, where a rookie driver just seems like you can kind of go in the wrong direction. You might just never get better. You might unload pretty fast, but they just seem to get better and better. And I think that's just, understanding, they're just so different. They're so much bigger. Just understanding the whole truck and car and the feel of the tires and everything's just been different. But, we're definitely, I feel like I've gotten 100 times better, and I think I've ran about 15 races now, so I feel like I'm getting a lot closer to be able to run towards like a top 5 finish, so it's good.
You mentioned Casey, which of course is Casey Kane, and I know that you're a protege, so to speak, of his. That I wouldn't want to say that you're his find, but he's certainly been a big proponent of your career. When I was at his sprint car shop at Casey Kane Racing last year, I remember you were hanging out there. How much do you see of him? Do you still spend a lot of time with him? Does he help you out? Can he give you any tips at a place like this?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of my best friends. He's my car owner in the sprint cars. So we spend tons of time at that sprint car shop. If anyone knows him, how much he loves sprint car racing and how involved he is with those teams. So he's definitely helped me come over to this side, and he's he's been great. You know, he told me that this isn't his favorite track, and he doesn't run very good here. So I need to go talk to like Tony Stewart or Denny Hamlin or something. But you know, he definitely helps me as much as he possibly can. He pays attention, you know, and he'll try to watch as much as he can when he's not busy, obviously. But you know, he'll help out a lot, and you know, I'll be able to talk after practice with him and tell him where I'm fighting, and he can throw some ideas out, you know, to help me relate to the crew chief a little bit better.
Brad Sweet of Turner Motorsports, he'll be in Saturday's Kroger 250 Camping World Truck Series race there at Martinsville Speedway. Obviously, your background in sprint cars and in the open wheel world, and I'm kind of curious, Brad, what led you to come to try stock cars and the trucks? Why not take the path to the Indy 500 like some other open wheelers do?
Well, I would have loved to. It's probably just opportunities. You know, it's just what kind of opportunity, you know, came up. You know, I love sprint cars. I love midgets. You know, that's all I ever thought I would ever do. You know, had a dream to come towards NASCAR, just watching Casey and Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon and all those guys that come from the background that I was, you know, in, and I saw how successful they were over here. So it made me, you know, just kind of dream of that and want to come this path. You know, then I lived in Indy for a few years, and I loved IndyCar racing. I loved the Indy 500, and I was all about it. But there's just not a lot of opportunities there. It's a way more of a money-driven sport. You know, the driver needs to bring, you know, basically fund the whole car. There's only a few rides out there. It's just a lot harder. So you come down here, you can end up in a truck ride, or you know, maybe a nationwide ride, and then show what you got. Then you never know what can happen from there. So that's kind of how it worked out for me. And you know, I love it down here so far. I love Charlotte, and I love you know, the whole NASCAR community. It's been a blast so far.
You talk about what's different there with the driver having to basically fund the whole car in IndyCar. I think you're right, and I think what's interesting now is that it's not just like no talent guys bring in sponsorship. It's if you're a past champion like a Tony Kanaan or something, you have to bring millions, right? I mean, to be able to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, there's just not a lot of opportunities. That, like Brian Clausen, he was the USAC champion this year, and he got a little bit of an opportunity this year to race Indy Lights on the oval. So it's kind of they're definitely wanting to go that direction. I think they know they need new talent, young talent. They need hired guns, so you know, to get fans a little more excited about it. So I think they're trying. You know, and I would love to. You know, I would have loved to done it if I had the opportunity. But you know, like I said, it didn't work out. But you know, Indy cars are cool, and it's a totally different form of racing for sure.
Before we let you go, and we know you've got practice coming up here in a little bit, you're with Turner Motorsports. Going to have Ricky Carmichael and James Buescher as teammates this weekend. What's the whole experience at Turner Motorsports? I mean, that race team grew so fast, Brad, and to have you kind of in the mix, kind of give everyone an overview of kind of how you see the team coming together and maybe what your guys' plans are for the future. Yeah,
it's been great to be a part of it. There are a lot of great guys. Steve Turner's awesome. I don't know if any of you guys have ever met him, but he's a really good guy. He's a true racer. He loves it. He's involved in the engines. He's involved in the car setup. You know, he's in your window net wanting to know what's wrong and how he can help. You know, and it's cool to have an owner be, you know, that involved in it and care that much and be so passionate. And you know, it's cool to have James and Ricky. They're both young guys like me. You know, trying to learn the trucks, and we got great guys behind us, and you know, it's definitely grown a lot. And then the nationwide shop's been able to help us a lot, that he took over, and the drivers over there, Leffler and Allgaier, Casey and Reed Sorensen. We got tons of young drivers that, you know, we all love the same thing. We all love to race, and we all try to help each other out. I've never been around a group of drivers that wants to help everybody help each other as much as the group that we got. So it's fun to be a part of it, and you know, hopefully we can, you know, I'll start winning a lot of races.